These plays that I'm alerting, I try to get the biggest and best broad view of them. That means I look at the charting. I think about it as a trader, as an investor. I try to think about it in a psychological aspect as where are other buyers going to be coming on in. But then I also want to be able to look at the forward guidance. I also want to be looking at the profit. I also want to talk about the revenue. I also want to talk about the CEO. So I really want to be able to dive into these plays to be able to figure out which one is really going to be the best for us. First one. I've talked about this one a lot before, and that is AMD, Advanced Micro Devices. Now, I will say a lot of people across the internet are talking about AMD. First thing that I want you guys to do, especially when looking at your charts, is switch on over towards a monthly chart. Gone over this a lot, but when you go over a monthly chart, you are going to get the biggest and best overview of the company. So, for instance, AMD, we have a very nice overview of where the stock has been and where the stock could and probably will be potentially going here in the future. So the one thing that stands out the most to me as just a pure charting basis is that AMD so far has had perfect dip buys when we come back down to the 50-day moving average on a monthly chart. Said this morning, said it last week, said it the week before. On any stock, on any chart, you switch on over on the monthly chart, you see the 50-day moving average is usually always the best dip buy. Happens all the time. 50-day moving average, you will see best dip buy opportunities. If that is bounce right here, if that is bounce right here, if that is bounce right here, if that is bounce back here, you guys can see how the 50-day moving average is so great. One of the top robotics companies, ISRG, another great example, showing again how when you come back down to the 50-day moving average, you have incredible opportunities. Let's just imagine if AMD right now was basically coming down towards this area. In the future of 2024, 2025, 2026 and beyond, we are going to be able to see all of this coming on up. So what I like a lot about AMD as a charting perspective is that we are coming on down to an absolutely prime and pristine area right around that 113-ish mark. Right now we do have AMD 113, which is going to be an absolutely incredible entry if we can get it. But really the big fear right now is I feel like missing out. I feel like the big fear coming on up here on AMD is going to be we're at 120. We hit 119 earlier today. We were at 118 last week. Are we going to see that 50-day moving average? Because we could have waited for the 50-day moving average right here at $93, ended up shooting all the way up towards 227. You could again waited for it to come back on down, came back down to 72, never went back down lower, and then shot all the way on up. So the biggest fear as a trader for myself is missing out on saying, oh, I want another $10 to fall instead of just getting in. And sometimes, depending on who you are and your risk tolerance and you as the belief towards the stock, is it worth it to just get in? Is it worth it just to get in, just to pull the trigger now, even if that's a little bit? So the worst case scenario, the stock does start going on a big time spike, big time rip and run, the stock can go on a beautiful climb. What I really like about AMD, it says AMD analyst ratings. We could see that right here over on Tip Ranks, we could see that AMD, we had a low of 145 as over the next 12 months projections. Our average would be 184. Our high will be at 250. This is one of those plays that we absolutely love because we have at our current price on AMD is 120. And they're saying that a bear projection is going to be 145. Guys, that's awesome. That's great to be thinking about. It's great to know that as we are heading into this brand new year, our bear projection over the next 12-month forecast is 145. That means it's higher than where we're currently sitting. An average year, we have 184. A bull case would be 250. So do you guys understand kind of what I'm looking for here? Do you guys understand what I'm essentially saying here? What I'm essentially saying is if we have a stock where analysts are predicting which way this market's going to be going and which way the stock's going to be going, and the bear case is still above the current price, well, that seems like that's going to be a great stock that we want to get involved in. AMD, I am not expecting it to surpass NVIDIA. I am not. I'm looking for a clear-cut number two. That's what I'm looking for. When I'm looking for what stock is going to be coming on up here next, what stock is going to go on a big time spike, I know that NVIDIA is the leader of the semiconductor world. I'm not in any denial about that. I'm not saying, oh guys, NVIDIA, it's going to crash. I'm not saying that. I think NVIDIA is going to be great. But what I'm looking for is who is going to be the competition that is actually going to step up. We all hear the term competition will catch up to its competitors, right? Competition will catch on up. We will be able to find a number two to basically give NVIDIA at least a little bit of run for its money. Since Lisa Su has taken over, back I believe it's 2015, we have had about 9 out of 10 years of revenue growth. There has only been 1 year of red, and that was in 2023. So, since Lisa Su has taken on over, which is going to be, if we want to take a look at an arrow right here what do you guys have noticed about the company? The company has really come to life. The company has really thrived. The company has actually had a lot of success. So we have a new CEO take on over. We have revenue growth, revenue growth, revenue growth, revenue growth. We did not have the revenue growth that we wanted back in 2023. And now we have revenue growth, revenue growth. Even regardless, if you love this company or hate this company, what do you guys realize? This is still an uptrending company. This is still a company that is growing every single year. It's still a company that is going to be absolutely beautiful. Now, I know what people say, traders. Just like back in 2022, people said, oh, Meta's garbage. Meta's an awful stock. Guys, everyone was saying that back in 2022. Oh, Meta's garbage, guys. This stock is over. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't know what he's doing. He's building the metaverse. I mean, what a horrible investment. Guys, imagine if you bought Meta back in 2022. We know Meta's not a bad stock. We know Facebook isn't a bad stock. We know this thing is going to bounce back on up. In the last 2 years, it absolutely exploded. You can make that case with everything. Netflix. Oh, Netflix is garbage, guys. Hey, everyone's going outside now. That time that we had to stay in, you guys know what I'm talking about. That time is over. Everyone's going outside. But look at Netflix is going crazy. Just over the last week and a half when we had Christmas, they were having record-breaking numbers as they streamed the football games over on Christmas, if you guys saw that. So again, Netflix is stronger than ever right now. We could be able to see Amazon. Amazon took a hit, bouncing back on up. We could see Google take a hit. Google bouncing back on up. Just because a company has a big pullback does not mean it stinks. But when you're on social media and there's people who have their hard-earned money over on the play that just bought in at bad times that say to themselves, oh, I got in at 225. Oh, this is not Advanced Micro Devices. This is Advanced Money Destroyer. This is a bad company. This is a bad stock. We have an uptrending play getting close to its 50-day moving average on, again, a very hot sector that's going to be supplying chips forever in this AI world. And again, we have AI chips that are going to PlayStation, going to Xbox. The majority of consumers have AMDs with an amazing CEO with great numbers who only had one red year out of the last 10 years of being the CEO. We, again, want to be looking for dip buy opportunities. The lower we go, the better the dip buy we will have. The lower we go, the more reward we will have. The lower we go, the less risk we will have. And being able to get this play after this major sell-off is pretty incredible. It's pretty great. So I would love to wait towards around that 50-day moving average, but at the same time, it is a little bit scary to know that I don't want to miss out on it. I don't want to miss out if this play does keep on spiking. Now, let's keep going forward. What we can also be looking at is WYNN. This is another play that I absolutely love. I think this WYNN win is going to be a winning play. No pun intended, but it's a pun intended because, again, it's named as win, so we want to win. You guys get what I'm saying. So the thing is, what we have with win right here is win is also one of these plays that is going to be very low risk and high reward. Now, please take that with a grain of salt. When I'm talking about stock trading and I'm talking about the stock market, there will always be some sort of risk. At any moment, when we could open on up, it could be at $0. That's just the fact of the stock market. But we are trying to look into companies that are not going to be doing that. Now, looking at it as a charting perspective, this is how I'm reading it. Taking a look over on WYNN, I have a bounce play back on down towards around $60. Bounce play back on down towards $60. Bounce play back on down towards $60 with a very large downtrend, right? That's right in front of us. Resistance, 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 resistance. You basically have two areas where you can buy this stock. You can look for an entry back on down towards $60, or you can look for an entry that is going to be breaking this downtrend, which would be the break of this downtrend the first time since 2014. That's going to be a very strong move when that happens. Now, WYNN is going to be a slower play. They do pay dividends right now at 0.25, which is going to be 25 cents for every single share that you own. That's going to be great. But what we're thinking about is, can we be able to get shares on a play that is not only going to pay us dividends, but also be a growing stock and be able to move itself on up? The number one thing about WYNN is that this company has been able to hold through, number one, 2021, where hotels were shut on down, where people weren't allowed to go outside, where no one was going on vacation, no one was traveling, no one was going anywhere other than sitting in their home. For WYNN to be able to hold that on up, that's a win in itself. Number two, we've had higher interest rates. Well, again, people are not going to be spending as much money during higher interest rates. So you're telling me at this moment, we are surviving a time where no one was traveling, no one was spending big money, and then of course with the higher interest rates, everyone's being more conservative. Now let's see what they got. Now let's again cater to the top 5% of the world when we're talking about WYNN Casino, WYNN Hotels. These are again very luxurious companies. If you do or do not know, coming on up in 2027, we do have the UAE opening on up their brand new resort. So they are the first commercial casino license. Traders, what is this going to be like? What is this? Look how crazy this looks. This is essentially their own little island. It's like WYNN Island out here in the middle of Dubai. Traders, when you think about Dubai, you think of that oil money. You think about those people that just drive around Lamborghinis, just drive around Ferraris, just drive around the most insane cars, leave them around. They walk up to a penthouse. They say, how much is this? And they say, oh, this is $200 million. $200 million, fine, I want it. How much is that penthouse? $200 million, fine, I want this. Right? It's kind of crazy to be thinking about how much money there is out there. I was also listening, I told you earlier today, I was listening to a Joe Rogan episode. And they were talking about the richest people in the world. Mark Zuckerberg, Jeff Bezos. They're talking about people that own these Fortune 500 companies. But you know who's not ranked there? What about people in the Middle East? People who live in Dubai. People who are born into this insane amount of oil money. We could be talking not only billionaires, but are there trillionaires that aren't tracked on record right here? Potentially. And the thing is, now the WYNN Resorts have just been awarded UAE's first casino. Its $3.9 billion island project is set to open in 2027. Guys, this is where a lot of those people are going to hang out. And this is the first time that they're allowed to actually gamble. I mean, could we just be opening up an entire world right here? Think about how much money WYNN is going to bring in. Because at the end of the day, guess what? The hotels, the casinos, the house, they win. I don't know if you guys have ever gone to a casino before, but the majority of the time when I go, I lose. That's just me being honest. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm some crazy card counter. Sure, every now and then I get lucky. Every now and then I'll walk away with a profit. But like 99.9% of people, wherever you are in your gambling career, you're probably in the red because the house always wins. Now imagine that with billions of dollars. Guys, that is why WYNN over the next 2 years could be such a massive increase in price, where not only are we getting dividends, not only are we buying lows, but again, in the next 2 years, we are going to be able to see a nice climb. Please understand, the stock market does not move off of what is happening at this moment. The stock market is going to be moving off of future ideas. What people believe is going to happen in the future is why the stock market goes on very big spikes. For instance, we have been seeing a lot of rips and runs and climbs with stocks that have to do with quantum computing. That's a perfect example. Quantum computing stocks, guys, we can take a look over on IONQ. Stock has gone from $7 all the way up to $48. We could take a look over on QBTS. Stock has gone all the way from $1 all the way up to $10. Stock's gone over on RGTI. Stock's gone from $1 and spiked all the way up towards $20. Guys, is quantum computing here? No. Quantum computing's not here, but it's the idea that one day it could be here. So now hype's moving on in. We again have Rocket Lab, people shooting satellites into space, and again, companies being able to send their own servers up into the atmosphere. The thing is, that's not here yet, but it's the idea of what could potentially happen. So what does it come down to? It comes on down to who's willing to get in early, who's willing to be a visionary. Visionary is going to be someone who gets in with the idea now that it could happen in the future. That's basically what investors are. We're visionaries trying to figure out what is actually going to be the biggest and hottest trends that are going to shape and change the revolution of technology. That's what we're trying to figure out as a trader. So when I'm taking a look at, okay, hey, what do I want to do with AMD? Well, AMD is a winning company already. AMD is on an uptrend over the last 10 years. AMD, we're getting a perfect little dip buy back down to the 50-day moving average on the monthly chart. Right, seems like a pretty good, smart investment right here. Okay, WYNN right here. WYNN, this is a good company where we went through the worst of the worst. We went through that time of travel restrictions. We went through high interest rates. And now we're going to start cutting rates. And we have, again, the first ever gambling license in 2027. You know what's also really great about this play? Just like I showed you over on AMD, WYNN has the same exact thing, where it's saying its bear case is 103. Its, again, average is 116. Its high is 125. Guys, if we take a look at WYNN right now, it's $84. So analysts are projecting that its bear case is 103. Its average is 116. Its high is 125. That's its bear case. Hey, that's pretty good. That's pretty smart. That's pretty awesome to be able to see and be able to realize. So I really like AMD. I really like AMD. I really like WYNN. Let's keep moving on. Let's keep talking about some other plays here. I really like going forward BWXT. BWXT. This, in my eyes, is basically the SMR version, the nuclear version of Palantir. Palantir was one of, if not the best play back in 2024. We can actually see right here over on Fox Runner, we were taking a look at this earlier, where we had the best and worst stocks of 2024. And we could see Palantir is actually having a 340% gain. One of the best plays came in third place behind APP and MSTR. So this was an absolutely great play. Now, when we take a look at this, why is Palantir so great? Palantir is so great because it has a few different things. And let's go ahead and break this on down. Number one, the reason why Palantir has been able to spike so well is because, number one, it was able to go through, have relevance in what is hot right now. Well, what's very hot? We already know AI, right? Palantir is an AI play. It's basically like a platform that you can build software off of AI. So it got a lot of hype because of that. Number two, it also got a lot of hype because not only does it have commercial contracts with, private businesses and such, but it also is going to have government contracts. And that is going to bring in a lot of hype. That's going to bring in a lot of momentum. Now, I don't know if you guys realize this, and I've talked about this a lot, and it's something that I'm pretty passionate about, is the thing is, all these companies such as Meta, these companies such as Amazon, these companies such as Tesla and Google, all of these companies such as Microsoft, they have been buying billions, not millions, not hundreds of thousands. They have been buying, there we go, Microsoft, they have been buying billions of dollars of these AI chips. Now, you know what's pretty crazy? Is we have these AI chips, and now everyone's saying, yes, we did it. We bought these AI chips. But there's nothing we can actually do with these AI chips right now. Well, Dick, don't we do AI with them? How? We got to program the AI. Now, what a lot of people did not know and did not realize is our grid, our current grid structure is not strong enough to actually power these AI chips. For them to actually be used at their fullest potential, we need a stronger energy source. Unfortunately, at this moment in time, in 2025, our current grid is being stressed and strained and tensed on out, just trying to be able to supply enough energy to everyone in the world. Not only for AI, but just everything. Guys, everywhere we look, everything's on the grid. Everything is used by electrical. Everything is flip a switch, turn it on. That we are again using a grid that is getting very old, 60, 70, 80 years old, and we are stretching it out to its limitations at this moment. For AI to actually be usable going into the future, we are going to have to use some sort of new energy source. And what is that? That is going to be nuclear. I have been talking about nuclear. I have been talking about uranium for the last probably 2 to 3 weeks. And it's actually funny because over this weekend, guess what we started seeing? We started seeing CNBC start coming on out. We started seeing all these different, large companies start coming on out. Why Amazon, Microsoft, Google, and Meta are investing into nuclear pattern. What nuclear energy could look like going forward. Nuclear stocks that are going to be coming on up. Nuclear energy is about to explode to the AI boom. Amazon signs agreements for innovative of nuclear energy products to address growing energy demands. That's from Amazon.com. What do we have right here? This is rather recent, I believe. We have Nuclear Newswire. Amazon buys a nuclear powered data center from Talon, New Jersey. That was in March of 2024. Okay, cool. Let's go ahead and take a look at Microsoft real quick. Microsoft is trying to make a deal with 3 Mile Island. Why Microsoft made a deal? To help restart 3 Mile Island, a what's shut nuclear power plant could soon return to the grid. Traders, why is this, right? Why? And it really comes on down to the pure fact that nuclear is the cleanest version and is the most powerful version to actually be able to supply these the energy that's needed to these AI chips. So you're telling me that all of these Fortune 500 companies just spent billions of dollars on AI chips, and we don't have enough power to actually make the AI that we want? A small modular reactor. A nuclear reactor that's smaller and more compact than traditional power plants and can be used to generate electricity, process heat, and more. So what this is over SMRs is going to be a different way for us to be able to have nuclear energy without actually building these massive nuclear power plants. SMRs can be built in factories. SMRs can be built quicker. SMRs can be built in higher quantities. SMRs are going to be safer. SMRs are going to have less regulation, and they're going to be able to supply the nuclear energy that we need to be able to power up this AI. Why is this like Palantir? Because I stated that they have not only commercial contracts, but they have government contracts as well. So when I go over towards profile here over on BWXT, let's just scroll down and it says BWX Technologies, together with its subsidiaries, manufactures, sells nuclear components in the United States, Canada, and internationally. So it's already a global worldwide business. It operates through two segments, government operations and commercial operations, which means it already has government contracts and it has commercial contracts. It's already a profitable company. The government operations segment designs and manufactures on naval nuclear components, reactors, and nuclear fuel, SMRs. Fabrication activities and supplies propriety of sole source valves, manifolds, and fitting to naval and commercial shipping customers such as the United States Navy. So if Palantir is inside the AI world and they have commercial and they have government, and of course, they are going to be useful to build on top of the AI chips. That's going to be great. I think this company, BWXT, is being slept on at this moment, getting a little bit of hype as you guys could tell at this time. It's being slept on because it has government, it has commercial, it has AI, and the chips to be powered must use nuclear to be able to actually have full potential. So while again, BWXT is maybe a newer play to you, and it will take time. This is not anything that I think is going to blow up right now. I don't think it's going to be anything that's going to be amazing right now, but I do think in time, it's going to consistently grow. It's something that you want to watch. So if you want to get more inside nuclear, you can look at BWXT. You can also take a look over on CJJ, Cameco, or CCJ, excuse me, Cameco, which is going to be uranium, which is going to be what we need to be able to make nuclear. We're also going to have NEE, which a lot of people like as well. You can see how this has been climbing very well. A lot of people kind of more towards the meme side, like Wall Street Betsy side, is, I believe it's this one, right? Come on, spell this right. Rolls Royce, right? And this one has dropped very heavily, but that's a little bit more risk. But if you guys are interested on that play, this is a play that you definitely could look at this moment. On something that's so new, at something I think that we're so early towards, I'm more focused over on something that I want to say, hey, I want to look for profitability. Profitable companies that I think could be able to grow very well. And even though BWXT is already $100, I'm already just thinking it's more of a safer play. It's more of a safer investment. So we have 111 at this time. 111 is where we're currently sitting. Let's just think about this. BWXT, analysts over the next year straight in December 2025, their low is 105. Their high is 166. So guys, we're at 111. Analysts are projecting that the low is 105. The high is 166. So we basically have $50, $55 to the upside. We have $5 to the downside. Now, please do not say, oh, well, Deck, this dropped down to 90 or this dropped down to 95. This stock didn't do what the analysts project. Guys, analysts are analysts. Doesn't mean it's fact. It means what they believe. So please understand, not all of this is going to be correct, but it's a great at least starting point and a good idea. Now, when I say do your own research, when I say do your due diligence, what am I more referring to about this? I'm more referring to the idea that I want you guys to be able to try to think about it outside the box. Don't just say, oh, Deck bought this or this random guy bought this or this guy bought it. Think about what are analysts saying? What's the revenue looking like? Is the company profitable? How much higher can the stock go? Does it have, again, the good means of reasons for it to go and be able to climb on up? And that's what I want to do in this video. I want to be able to break down everything so you have a clear-cut understanding on why I believe these stocks are going to climb, why I believe these plays are going to go on up. If that's AMD, with everything that we've talked about, with the great CEO, with, again, 9 out of 10 years being green, with AMD being so consumer heavy, especially with PlayStation and Xbox, with this company still building this beautiful higher low and getting an amazing dip buy off that 50-day moving average. Can't go wrong with that in any sort of way. Then on top of that, we have WYNN, 2 years, getting paid dividends, getting near lows, again, being able to battle and hold up over the last 3 years straight and still being a good company, something I really like. BWXT, something that we are realizing Fortune 500 companies are putting billions of dollars into. And if these companies are putting billions of dollars into, we probably want to be looking into something very similar as well. Last one is going to be Nike. Nike, just going off the charting, let's do it. Charting wise, let's get a good understanding of where people may be looking to enter. Charting, I'm going to get out of the way here. You guys can see what are so good. Notice this uptrend. This uptrend, traders, has been holding all the way back since 2010. We've had this beautiful higher low. Higher low, higher low, higher low, higher low. If we get an entry, I would say anywhere sub $70, you're basically pretty good. You have an incredible entry. If you get in at sub $70 over on Nike, you are having the same exact entry as people bought in at the peak back in 2015, 10 years ago. You are getting in at entries that people got in 10 years ago. That's pretty awesome. Nike is one of the most recognizable brands in the world. It's very tough for Nike to fail. It is. And again, somehow they've been able to achieve that over the last 3 years. But when I look at this logo swoosh right here, when I take a look at the Nike logo swoosh, everyone knows that. Everyone knows that. It's an icon. It doesn't matter what sport you play. It doesn't matter if you grew up, and playing golf when they used to have the golf. I remember, again, Tiger Woods, the golf ball back on the 17th hole in the Masters falling in slowly. You guys remember that? They made a lot of commercials about it, where greatness happens. You could imagine Michael Jordan wearing the Nikes or Kobe wearing Nike. You could be able to imagine even, soccer. I know Adidas a lot of times runs more of the soccer game, but again, Nike gets involved in that, or baseball, or again, whatever it could be. Nike did a great thing. And what did they just do? They just got their old CEO back. So if you want to take a look, Nike, during Nike's prime, was back in the mid-1990s, early 2000s. That's when Nike was exploding. Everyone was wearing Nike everything. They got that CEO back. Elliott Hill right here. Hill is a Nike insider who started as an intern in 1988 and retired in 2020 as president of marketplace and consumer. He's passionate about the brand and has a deep understanding of the industry and partners. Guys, let's think about what happened here. Can we again break this on down? This person got involved in Nike in 1988 and stayed until 2020. Okay? And throughout 2020, he was building up the ranks, he was running the company, and he was doing great. He stopped in 2020. What happened in 2020? Well, as we can see right here, this is where he started getting out. This is where he ended, right around here. And ever since he left, they had a little bit of that momentum, and then they came crashing all the way back on down. He's seeing this company fall. He's seeing this company fade. He's seeing this company drop. And he's saying to himself, hey, we got to get this thing back on track. Like, this is an embarrassment. We're Nike. What are we doing here? So, getting this company back on track with the CEO, taking back on over with, again, very, I would say, lower risk, high reward. This is a company that the charting looks great. The CEO that we know has made this company absolutely soar before, continue to work. We could see how great this is. And now he's, again, taking charge of this wheel. I think it's great. I think it's great where we can get this price, sub 70. I think it's great, of course, what's going to be coming on up. So, when I'm looking at what are the plays that I really like, what plays do I think are going to have incredible value? AMD's incredible value. Nike's incredible value. WYNN's going to be incredible value. And BWXT is going to be incredible value. These are the top 5 plays that I really enjoy. These are going to be the top stocks that I really think are going to be able to make us the most amount of money. And these are the companies that I'm going to start investing my $75,000 towards. So right now at this moment, traders, I do not have any plays in my $75,000. So this is my balance. I took a screenshot on this 2 days ago on December 30th. And I just wanted to show you straight up where I'm currently at. So as we go, as we progress, of course on Tradecaster, I'm going to be getting involved on these plays live with you guys, showing you guys my entries, showing you guys my exits, showing you guys absolutely everything that I need to do to make sure that you guys are coming out profitable and on top, and that you guys are growing every single day.